Hey guys, welcome back to another wonderful week of FetchQuest. It's April's passing by really fucking quick, at least for me. Um, but just in case you can't remember, Domikos, you want to catch us up from last week?
Sure. Let's do it. So last week, our group made their way to the Fallen Keep, finally, taking in tow with us a freshly hatched pet dragon that seemed to be growing very quickly and eating an entire hotel room of furniture, mainly Kara's hotel room of furniture, which was paid for. And the whole way, Zahn seems to have made it a mission to let things fall as they may relating to the dragon. Once arrived at the Fallen Keep, we were met by a steward who brought us in, apparently expecting that we were all great, powerful friends of, what was the guy's name from the town? I don't know. I can't remember. It's been a long week. But long, powerful friends of the guy who's sponsored us in getting into the Fallen Keep. Falamir sounds right. Morgan will correct us, I'm sure. Um, and when then, where we were wined and dined like kings and queens. Well, like dragons should be dined, I suppose, because the dragon ate pretty much everything, including almost our friend and werewolf traveling companion. But needless to say, he survived, and we met with the Lord, the Vampire Lord, where he said he would want us to be tested, possibly for some other plans that he has, but we would meet with him later. We went back and rested, and that is where we left off.
Excellent. So you guys are each in your own individual rooms within Falamir's compartment. Um, eh, all right. So you guys have taken a long rest. Uh, what are you guys doing in the morning? Well, yeah. If you took a full long rest, then it's about evening right now.
I wanted to discuss with the efficient we're sort of working with currently all of these nuances.
Cool. So no one's really shown up to the compartment yet. When you wake up, are you gonna wait for the rest of the party, or are you gonna try and wander around try to find him?
I assume he's going to come to us, so I'll wait for him.
Okay. What's everyone else doing?
I'm gonna wake up and look around the room and see where Noodle is.
Well, you guys do. There are more than enough rooms for each of you guys to have your own room. So unless you
Okay.
guys are specifying like sharing a room, I'm assuming that each of you are taking your own room.
Right.
Making sure Noodle's fed.
No, I'll be honest, that sounds like a good idea. I might have to go and look for Noodle. Make sure he didn't break out at some point at night.
Yeah, I'm going to the main area and seeing if it's just torn asunder.
Cool. So we're gonna, since Noodle is with Kara, we're gonna hop over to Kara. Kara, when you wake up, you do notice that there are scratch marks around the door. The door is intact. It does look a little bit dented, but it is intact. There are some scratch marks around it, and after a quick cursory look around, Noodle is nowhere to be seen.
I learned how to use doors. I'm gonna look for my dragon.
Cool. Make a investigation check. So you follow, like you look around and you see that your pack is open, contents have been spilled out, and much of it has been dragged underneath your bed where Noodle is currently curled up.
He fits under there?
Well, he's about the size of a cat. These are large, like noble beds, huge king size beds.
What has he dragged out of my backpack?
He has dragged. Let me open up your inventory real quick. He is dragged out. Mainly your clothes. He has dragged out your crossbow bolts and your light crossbow, and also your rope.
I don't use the fucking crossbow anyway. The clothes are fine. Is he awake?
His back is to you right now. He is breathing steadily, but you can't tell just by looking at him if he's awake or not.
Is he like faced into a wall?
Now, he's kind of curled up. You know the way the animals do with like the
Oh.
snout under their tail?
Like croissant.
Yeah.
Croissant dragon. I'm just gonna. I don't want to touch him. Hold on. Because he might bite me. I'll cast Mage Hand and just gently pet him. Noodle.
You can see
awake?
the kind of scales kind of like shiver up a little bit, and head kind of raises up against the bottom of the bed, and one eye opens up looking at you, and then he shuffles back into a circle.
I don't want to leave him in this room. I'm just gonna open my door just so that people know I'm awake and try to coax the dragon out from under the bed.
So the door opens, and like you open the door and you see like the bedspread that's kind of hanging over shuffles a little bit.
Is he pretending to be asleep?
Hey, make a quick dexterity saving throw.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah, you are bowled over by Noodle as he runs outside. And
Shit.
Domikos and Yovan, as you guys are currently searching for Noodle, you do hear the scrabbling of claws against tile, and see Noodle charging towards you guys.
Oh my god.
Oh no, not again. So it's bolting. It's full on.
Well, it seems like at first he was bolting, and then he noticed you guys, and he kind of lowered his head a little bit.
Because kind of just like show his hands, like it's okay. How you doing, Noodle?
I'm kind of just like crouch a little bit, kind of trying to see if it's going to try and dart left or right. I'm going to try and just like cut off that. But I'm just like, nope. You're not leaving here.
Cool. Make a persuasion check, Domikos. And the outcome of this
Sure.
roll will affect Yovin's grapple check.
I am not endorsing this grapple at all. Just so.
I'm not going to grapple it unless it tries to run past. Like I'm willing to do the hold my action for like that opportunity attack grapple.
Cool. So you do. He seems kind of confused and almost like he's getting to a stop, but he will not be able to stop in time before crashing into one of you.
Can I tell he's trying to stop but can't, and then not trying to like bolt?
Yeah, you can make an insight check, but that means that if he aims towards you, like if he's running and you happen to be the person that he hits, you have disadvantage on the dex
That's
save.
fine.
Too.
I was planning to try to get in front of him anyway, so he wouldn't hit if he was gonna hit towards Domikos' side.
Cool. Make a insight check. As of right now, you kind of he's still charging. So whether he's trying to stop or not, it doesn't really matter.
All right.
And let's see. Cool, and he's aiming towards you. So you can either make a grapple check to try and catch him, or a dexterity saving throw to try and get out of the way. Either
I'm
way,
gonna
it's a
try.
disadvantage.
All right. I'm gonna try and catch him, and it will be at disadvantage. You got it.
Cool. I mean, you managed to he skid, and you picked him up, and you're now holding Noodle.
Yep.
And Zon, you do manage to walk into the hallway, seeing Joven holding Noodle, Karis getting up.
Not my problem.
As soon as Noodle's in my hands, I'm gonna try and just slam down onto a knee and kind of just shuffle Noodle back towards Kara's room. Just like a letting. It's almost letting go of a fish.
What kind of fish are you catching?
Did you just say you were going to Bane style smash Noodle onto
No. I'm just as fast as I can. I'm gonna get down so that Noodle is ground level.
Okay.
Essentially, just slamming down onto my own knees with Noodle up like that, without it hitting him.
Noodle is extremely confused and doesn't move.
Go back to Kara. Just go back to Kara.
Yeah, he's just gonna look around, very confused.
I don't want to hold that thing for any longer than I have to. I remember what happened last time.
I'm going to tell Noodle using my Awakened Mind feature that he is afraid that Noodle is going to bite him again.
And Noodle's immediately going to make eye contact with Joven.
Yep.
Go back to Kara. Go on.
He's just looking at
Holding.
Noodle flicks his tongue at you,
No.
gets out of your arms, and just kind of stands in the middle of the hallway.
He was sleeping until I opened the door. Come here. Come on. Do you want to go get food? We can go get you food, but you can't run throughout the keep. I'm talking to Noodle.
Look around as if not sure who she's talking to.
And go scoop Noodle up.
Cool. Noodle's in your arms.
Let's go get you some food. I'm gonna go look for wherever we were before.
Cool. Everybody's going to the dining hall? One of the dining halls? Or just Kara and Noodle?
I'll go to try and get some breakfast or something.
I'll go. Well, it's kind of getting dark at this point, so
Right.
yeah.
Oh god. Yeah.
Breakfast / dinner.
Oh, the time difference is gonna be sorry.
Yep. I'll go too for something to eat.
Cool. What about you, Zon? What are you doing?
I thought I was already there.
Okay. Yeah, you guys meet up with Zon in the dining hall, and there's eggs, sausage, bread, just variety of breakfast foods that are out on the table. Noodle immediately steals a platter of eggs and gets to work.
I'm gonna watch him to make sure he doesn't eat the platter itself.
Right now, he seems more focused on the eggs.
Does Noodle seem bigger than previously?
Not anything noticeable.
Okay. That's good.
Any discussion over breakfast, or are you guys just waiting for the steward to come by?
Whenever Noodle gets close to finishing his plate, I'll just have more food so he doesn't jump up on the table again.
Cool. Just refueling Noodle.
Yep.
Eventually, there is a knock on the door, and the same steward kind of shuffles in. Good evening.
Good evening.
Your orders from the Lord. He's in
All
a
right.
place to scroll down on the table.
Do stick around. I do have some questions that I wish for you to answer.
Oh,
Things
of
of
course,
sort of royal court situation.
of course. And he's gonna kind of shuffle towards the wall and just eyes on Noodle.
I'll read the scroll, I guess.
So the scroll is through all the course noble boilerplate. It's reading down that there are some challenges that uh, you guys need to complete before the vampire lord feels comfortable having you guys as part of his delegation. Um, there is a special group that has come to visit, and some of their members have gone missing. Um, so he needs you guys to track them down to find them. There are a collection of herbs that the Lord needs collected, and there's also the matter of a discrete problem that needs to be taken care of. But it doesn't really go into details what this problem is. It just refers to Falamir. Like, ask Lord Falamir for more information.
All right. So, you don't have any more information about any of these things we were tasked with, correct?
That depends. I have very limited knowledge of what's going on, so it would all depend on what your tasks are, of course.
Does the scroll list what the special herbs are?
It does, but you don't recognize any of these names.
Do you recognize any of these?
Yes, I do. These. Huh. Oh, they can be found in a few ruins to the north of here.
Right. You know what they're used for?
A variety of things, but some of these are used for healing. So possibly resurrection, something like that. I wouldn't know. It is possible that the Lord is just trying to restock some herbs.
True. Do most visitors have to go through such lengths?
Only those who are have asked to be held in higher regard, and those who are untested.
I see. All right. And this special group, what can you tell me about them?
It's a delegation from the north, a group of drow. They've come to speak to the Lord about I'm not quite sure, but they were ushered into the Lordship's throne room immediately upon arrival.
I insight check that.
Yeah,
I feel
sure.
like he's not telling me everything.
Sure.
Oh, never mind.
He's a vampire in a court full of vampires. Kind of hard to read.
All right. Then obviously this discreet matter is most likely between us and them. Nothing you know of.
I wouldn't know.
Of course. It's to be expected. All right. Well, what I wanted to speak to you to begin with, is there any faux pas or typical traditions I should be aware of, such as that kneeling thing we went through last time that I wasn't aware of?
Oh, you mustn't. Of course, I'm sure you're aware of the normal social rules, being noble descent, but it does. It's less about actual actions and more about non-verbal communication. If I'm, you mustn't ever challenge the Lord unless you would like to battle the Lord for lordship and then challenge away. But I wouldn't recommend it. This means no standing without permission, no looking them in the eye. When you must speak, speak to the room, not to them. Essentially, you must act as if they are everywhere, if that helps. It's a bit
That's
hard
helpful.
to define it.
It's a bit vague, but understandable.
Sorry.
It's all right. Who is the Lord? What is he, like a king? Does he just a baron?
They are. So titles are different for us than with mortals. Pretty much every vampire of power is referred to as a lord, but the only one that's referred to as the lord is the lordship. But I guess you could say they are our if not, it's not divinity, almost like a king or queen. And I guess Falamir would be a baron. But generally, every mayor of a town is considered a lord. But the more powerful the lord, the higher the title, the higher the held in esteem. Very few other lords have actual compartments in the Fallen Keep, like Falamir. But generally, these titles are more. They're not used as often when not speaking to the lordship.
Right. What is the Lord's name, or is he just referred to as the Lord?
They are the Lord.
Okay.
They have transcended beyond a name.
Right. All right. Makes sense. Right. Well, if there's anything else you can think of that you need to tell us, I'm sure we could go seek him out whenever we are supposed to be seeking him out.
Yes. So the Lord will call you to the throne room when they are ready. When you are done with your challenges, you may speak to me or one of the Johnnies, and one of us will inform the Lord, and you will be called to their chambers. Until then, you do have free reign around the Fallen Keep, except in areas that are prohibited, and you will be notified when you are reaching a prohibited area. And do try not to. He's gonna look at Noodle. Bring too much attention to yourself, more than necessary.
Of course.
Of course.
Do my best. Can you tell me which areas are prohibited, just so I can be aware before I even come close?
The dungeons, pretty much the lower levels. Some of the upper levels are prohibited. You have free access to the library. The kitchen is not really prohibited, but it is unnecessary. So no one will stop you, but you may be questioned if you do enter the kitchens. But you're not allowed in the kitchens. There are the stables are free. I believe the lake is open as well, but ghastly things live in the lake, so we wouldn't suggest it, but it's not necessarily prohibited. But So one of these herbs, the bloodwort, will be found in the lake.
All right. This your scholar. I believe we discussed him a bit last night. Would I be able to find him in the library, or is there somewhere else that he normally stays?
He's difficult to track down. It's not like he's actively evading the Johnnies, but we do seem to lose track of him. He may be in the library, he may be wandering the grounds, or he may be in one of the more restricted areas, for he has been here longer, earned more favors, and is, allowed in much more areas. You may find him in any of these places. To be honest, we haven't. He is free to roam.
Of course. Okay. I'll just keep my eye out then. Can you give me a good description of him, just in case I do see him?
Scholarly robes. He could be a gnome, or possibly a halfling, or maybe a dwarf. I'm no fool, but he is rather he's rather small, and he is quick, and doesn't hang around one spot too often. And I personally have not met the scholar, but you'll recognize them. You'll recognize them.
All right. All right, then, if we're free to move about, I guess we will go take a bit of a walk around and explore, I guess, in the places we can, obviously.
Of course.
Anywhere we are, we'll be summoned, correct? Or is there a specific place we should wait?
If you're on the grounds, the Johnnies will be able to find you.
All right. Well, thank you, and we should be on our way then.
He nods and exits, shutting the door behind him.
All right. What do you say to a walk around? Get that thing some exercise.
That could be good.
We're still eating.
Oh yeah.
Did it eat the plate?
If left unattended, Noodle will eat the plate.
I am not leaving him unattended to eat the plate. I'm actually gonna pull out a dagger from the bag of infinite daggers and see if he wants to chew on it.
So you pull out the dagger, and Noodle, after he finishes his current plate of eggs and sausage, he looks up at the dagger and takes it in his mouth, and then shuffles off into a corner of the room.
Yeah.
But you do not hear the sound of crunching metal.
Okay. Can I pick him up and put him in the bag with his newfound dagger so we can go for a walk?
Sure.
All right. Come on, Noodle. We're gonna see what everything looks like at night.
So as soon as Noodle goes in the bag, Alexander goes onto your shoulder, not wanting anything to do with Noodle.
I'm so sorry, buddy. You should get more than one backpack. Alright, where are we going? Are we supposed to do those things before we meet the Lord, or
I believe
are they
we're
gonna
waiting to
meet
be
us?
summoned. I believe we're waiting to be summoned to be explained what the discreet thing is, and then we will complete the tasks whenever the Baron or the Lord is ready to speak with us. But while we have the time, might as well take a look around and make sure of our surroundings. Maybe look out for this scholar if he's around. That and I need to stop off with a Johnny for a moment.
Yeah. Don't we have letters, Valamir?
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's go. Noodle's not cutting a hole in my bag, is he?
As far as you can tell, Noodle seems pretty preoccupied with this dagger.
All right. Thank God. Bag of infinite chew toys.
Giving a toddler a knife.
It's a fucking dragon.
It's a toddler.
It's like giving a Roomba a knife at this point.
No. I don't know. I'm just getting a lay of the land, I guess. I'm not really going with anywhere in specific in mind other than to look around and see if that scholar shows up. That and find a Johnny that's sort of secluded away from everybody at the moment.
Cool. Make an investigation check.
Sure.
So you don't really see any sign of the scholar, but you do find, like, on the outside of the fallen keep, you do see a Johnny that seems to be in mid patrol by itself. When you approach, it just kind of looks at you. Mouth doesn't clack open.
My good sir, I need you to complete a task for me.
It's just silently looking at you.
I'm under order from Lord Falamir to give you these items so that they can be delivered to where they need to go. And I'll hand him the letters.
He takes the letters, looks down at them, shuffles them, like splits them open like cards, looks at each of them, looks at you, and then nods.
All right. I like these ones more. Now let's just go back to my surveying of the lay of the land.
Cool. So, the Fallen Keep itself looks rather large. A lot of sections are blocked off. It really seems like you're kind of stuck to the main lobby, your compartments, the library, the lake, which you can't really seem to find just by wandering around, and the kitchens.
All right. Then, after we've gotten a good survey of what we can go to, I'm curious about this lake, since we could mark off one of these items quickly if we have the time for it.
Okay.
I'll see if we can find the lake.
Yeah, sure. Make a investigation check for me. See if you can pick up
Sure.
trails of the lake.
Would someone like to help me?
Yeah. I'll help.
Sure.
Thank
Cool.
you.
So you do manage to find the lake after talking to a few other passing vampires who don't really seem to want really anything to do with you, and they kind of just shuffle you on. You do find yourself at, it looks almost like a crypt entrance. Stone floors, what looks to be stone sarcophagi leaning up against the walls, some on the floor, and a heavy wooden door at the end that is barred shut from you guys' side. So you would have to lift open the heavy wooden beam to open the doors.
Or is there anyone or a Johnny around this area right now?
There is not.
All right. And he did say that the lake was open to us, correct?
He did.
All right. I'm going to try and lift this beam up.
Cool, make an athletics check.
Sure.
So you lift, but this heavy beam is just too thick It feels to be made out of almost metal rather than wood.
Let me give it a shot.
Please.
All right. Just gotta lift with the legs and not the back.
Cool. So Joven, it is heavy, and for a second there, you don't think you're going to be able to lift it, and then it creaks up. This is like you can feel the wood. Make a nature check for me, coming from a woodsman background. This is ironwood. It's wood that can be used to replace metal in armor and shields, and is extremely rare.
Do you know what this stuff is? I'll try to just strain to move it out of the way. This is ironwood.
Like the amount in the beam alone, not even including the door, could make it so generations of your family would never have to work again. But the beam is lifted up out of the way, and the doors stand ready to be pushed open.
What a
That
nerd.
is no exaggeration, practically worth its weight in gold.
Interesting. Sure. It looks like wood to me.
Well, this wood could replace metal in any armor.
Interesting.
Not sure I buy that, but sure.
I'm gonna knock on the wood. Does it make a wood sound or more of a almost metallic noise?
It does make a deep wooden thunk.
Yep. Nice quality too. Not too aged.
What a nerd. Open up the doors and go down.
So you push open the heavy doors, and the little light that is in this room kind of spills out into the yawning darkness below. What you can see are the very tops of wooden stairs that almost seem to go straight down. As far as you can tell, there are no sconces on the sides of the walls. And you get the same feeling that a young child standing at the foot of basement stairs would get. There's no telling exactly what's down here, but nothing good.
So this herb is down here, Zon?
Apparently, he said that there was some herb that we were looking for in the lake. And the lake is obviously here, from what we were told. We can always wait to be summoned. I just thought we could check it off the list if we had the time.
Are you sure there's a lake down there? Like that?
This is what people were telling me. I'm not sure.
Who bars off a lake?
He did say there were some nasty things down there. So, wouldn't surprise me.
I swear if another goddamn Hydra comes out.
I mean, to me, this feels more like a crypt. If I'm
Everything in this place feels like a crypt.
Okay, but like, the rest of the keep doesn't have coffins outside of it.
I don't know what to tell you. We're going to have to come here whether we go now or later, so...
So, Joven, you start to hear what sounds like wet slapping noises hitting stone, softly echoing from deep below.
Is it rhythmic? Kind of?
It's definitely like something is moving towards this light source.
Is the light source just the door, or did any of you cast like it?
The light source is the light from the room you're in spilling out into the stairway.
Something's coming.
Right.
I hear footsteps.
Alright then. Well, gotta make a decision now then. Are we waiting to be summoned, or are we going through with this? Because you're about to not have a choice.
I'm game for whichever. If we get one crossed off the list, that's be fine by me.
Well, we should wait to see whatever it is, but we should like not be out in the open with it. So hide, most likely.
Well, if it was barred, it's going to come out. I don't think we want to let whatever it is out.
Can I gauge how big this thing sounds?
Yeah, sure. Make a nature check. It's definitely not smaller than it's definitely not smaller than you, but it could be larger. It's moving rather slowly, so it's not like it's about to come rushing up the stairs, at least that you can tell. But you can tell it's now reached the bottom step because there's a pause, heavy slap.
Okay, it's coming up the stairs. Get this door closed.
All right.
We'll deal with it after we get more information.
I wonder if it would be more beneficial to come back during the day.
It is night.
I don't think it'll matter if we're underground.
Fair.
Actually, it's moving slow. Do any of you have... You can cast light on an object, right?
Yep.
You have anything you don't mind losing?
Take a dagger out.
Oh yeah, I could just toss one of the daggers. Here, I'm gonna cast light on a different dagger and hand it to him because I have noodle arms and noodle.
Cool.
What I'm gonna try and do is just...
Oh, no.
I'm not gonna try and throw it to like stab at anything. I'm gonna more or less just toss this thing down like a flare to try and just get a look or at whatever it is coming up the stairs.
Cool. 1 second. I thought you guys were going to shut the door, so I didn't have the picture ready.
Oh boy.
Oh, no.
Oh dear.
I am gonna try and shut the door if I see it and it's like, no.
Oh, fuck.
First of all, make a ranged attack with this dagger.
Okay. I don't have a macro for that quite, so I'll just plus. Okay, so that would be not bad. 13.
So you throw the dagger, and it does go bouncing down the stairs, and it doesn't seem to make it all the way down, but there's a moment, a pause, and then you hear beyond the first slapping noise, a few more join in.
Okay, more than one. Nope. These doors were barred, right? They had the
Yeah.
big...
Yeah, they were barred shut.
Zon, get the bar here.
All right.
So you guys do pull the door shut, and together you easily manage to bar shut the door.
Oh. Okay. So, when we decide to go down there for real, it might be a good idea for Kara and Damakos to have those big spells you guys do. It might be good to have them ready.
I mean, they're ready.
I don't know what you're worried about.
There sounded like there were more than one, and I don't know if we have what we need to take on them at the moment. If you feel
As a person
confident,
who's died more than once, technically, You are very afraid of these things, when you probably shouldn't be.
I mean, just because he's come back before does not mean he's going to come back if he dies again.
I guess that's true, but
I don't want to risk it. There's already enough weird things in my life. I don't want to have more piled on.
all right.
But if you feel like you can, all three of you, you feel like we can handle whatever it is that's down there.
I don't even know what is down there yet.
Exactly.
All of
Don't
you
know
guys
what
are,
it is. There
all
can
of
be
you guys are
multiple, there
in-
can be a single one. It doesn't matter.
all of you guys are interrupted by a almost quiet knock on the door.
Oh, fuck no. Absolutely not.
That would be them.
Hello?
Hello?
Who's there?
Zon Mazverek, who are you?
Zon, I want you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Sure.
Name.
Oh no.
Missed opportunity here.
19.
So you feel like almost for a second something tug at you, but the feeling goes away. Can you help me?
What do you need help with?
I need you to open the door.
Why don't you tell me who you are first?
It's been so long. I don't remember my name.
Alright. What year do you think it is? What date is it?
I don't know. I lost track. Please open the door. Please let me out.
The bar's in place, right?
Yeah, you guys have barred the door.
Yeah, about that.
Way to start backing away a little bit.
Yep.
Where are you right now? Do you know?
Would you ask?
Where are you?
I've been trapped. They trap us down here. They feed from us.
Who?
Please. The vampires.
Fuck. You don't remember your name?
No.
Sorry.
Please help me out. Please. Open the door.
Why
The
weren't you
door's
at the
gonna-
door in the first place?
The door's going to start to shake a little bit.
You're very strong for someone who sounds so timid.
Just let me out. Please.
Why weren't you at the door in the first place?
I didn't know someone would be there.
So you just don't sit by the door all the time asking for help?
If I do that, they come for me.
Why wouldn't they already?
They only come for us when we're loud or when they're hungry.
Sorry. I hope you're well enough. We'll be back. But
No, open the door. Open the door. And there's going to be several loud booms as the door begins to shake, as if something's hitting it extremely hard from the other side.
see you later.
There's just a loud yelling that's coming from the other side. A mixture of weeping, sobbing, and cursing. As the door, if it was a door made of any other kind of wood, it would definitely be shattered at this point.
Yeah, ironwood's worth its weight in gold because durable as hell.
Right.
No one has enough of that just out there for no reason. So whatever is in there is probably really strong, and we should probably, if we do go down there, when we do go down there, we should be going down there with everything we need for a fight.
That seems pretty obvious to me. Obviously, they know it's underneath there, so we can just ask them.
Yeah.
As my concern is getting the herb if we are not to kill whatever that is. So what if they have it down there for a reason and they want to keep it alive?
Well, that's something we can ask. Could just be something that's not easy to kill, and more easy to maim and leave where it is.
Hopefully. Hopefully. Glad I closed that door now. All right.
I think we would be able to handle it.
Yeah. I got bit by what is essentially a baby, and that did a good chunk of damage. I'm
Well,
not looking to risk
maybe you should
more than
ask that up with the mother of such a beast, and why it's still hanging around with us when she has very little handle on it.
He's literally 2 days old. I'm
Yes,
pretty
and he's
sure,
already overpowering you.
I'm pretty sure at 2 days old, you could barely lift your head up.
It's a dragon, okay? You don't know a lot about them because they haven't been around for quite a while.
Let's go see if we can find the scholar and get away from this fucking door. I hate it. I know we'll have to come back later,
I mean,
and I'd like to get some distance from it
we were
now.
already doing it.
Mhm.
Changing the subject, that's fine. We'll just deal with it later when it causes another havoc.
I'll be honest, I wouldn't really like to kill what is essentially could be the last of its kind.
Also, if we find the scholar, he might be able to tell us more about it.
We were already doing that. He's not easy to find.
I mean, all we really have to go on with that dragon is what is essentially a bunch of old half stories. And even then, it's like, if anything, what we've found is that stories are barely even reliable, much less half stories.
All I know is it needs to get under control, and quickly, or we're in for a lot of trouble. Well, not that I want to deal with. Especially right now.
We took Noodle's still in the papoose, right?
Yeah, he's still in the
My
backpack.
backpack.
Okay, good. It's good. That's good. Just wanted to make sure.
So where are you guys headed?
Wherever at this point. Just roaming around until we're summoned, I assume.
I do want to mention that the note does say if you have questions about the delicate problem that you guys need to take out, to ask Lord Falamir. It doesn't seem like the Lord is intent on summoning you guys until these challenges have been taken care of.
Ah. Alright.
Well, we can. Falamir's a good-ish person.
I guess we should do that then.
Do you think the Drow delegation is the ones we might have run into before?
I hope not.
Enough, Diego? I mean, if they came down from the north, there's no telling how long they've been here. And the
The
last
ones
time
that-
we saw them, they were over in Kel. That's not exactly north.
Yeah.
Depending on which part of Kel you're in.
I guess so.
I really hope they don't talk to each other.
No fucking clue what their society's like.
Because that's going to make this a lot harder.
So, Lord Falamir, or do we wish to go to the library to try and find the scholar?
Might as well go to Falamir. He's been more useful than most people we've found. And the scholar, who knows when we'll find him.
Okay. So you guys are heading out and heading towards Lord Falamir?
Yep.
All right. So it'll take you a little bit of time, but you do towards the middle of the evening do make it toward to Lord Falamir's town. You guys do enter in, and the secretary looks up. Oh, welcome back.
We're here to see Mayor Falamir.
Yes. Of course. You can go right up.
Alright. We'll head on up.
So you guys do enter in his office where he is sitting behind his desk. Oh, welcome back. Leaving so soon?
No, we have been tasked with a few things from the Lord before we are able to gain entry and foothold there.
Fair enough.
I completed your task of delivering the letters to a Johnny. That has been taken care of.
Thank you.
We were given this scroll. I'll just show him the scroll that we were handed. We were told that this discrete problem of yours needs to be taken care of, and we just want more information about that.
Oh, I have no problems that I need taken care of, but the lordship is a different matter. Would you wanting to take care of this problem first?
Well, yes and no. We're more trying to get more information about it before we make a decision where we should go first. Possibly do them all three together if possible. Faster the better.
I don't believe you'll be able to do the three of these together, but he points at Jovan. Can you shut the doors for me, please?
All right. Sure. It's going to go over and shut the doors.
Excellent. You need to kill a vampire.
Alright, and this is on the Lord's orders?
Yes. There is another vampire who is growing enough power and support to be able to challenge the lordship. And if not, kill the lordship, then weaken the lordship enough that another vampire could easily swoop in and clean up the rest. So they want you to eliminate their rival without it being obvious that they sent you to eliminate the rival.
Right. The only way to do this is by killing it, correct? There's no...
If you can reason with a blood-hungry vampire, then you may, but it might be in your best interest to kill this vampire. They are less understanding of the balance between vampires and mortals.
Alright.
Got it.
How do you feel about this?
Personally, I've known this vampire for some time. They're all right. I don't care too much either way, to be honest. I'm much more focused on my research and surgery.
Right. Alright. What is the, who is it that needs to be dealt with?
Karas the Cruel. They like to call themselves the Cruel. They feel it adds, I don't know, some sort of warlordish theme to their name.
It's a bit egotistical, if I...
That's a bit of
Say so.
something, all right.
You don't live for hundreds of years without getting a bit of an ego.
Oh, of course, but... Alright, where is he?
Well, if you are intent on fighting Karas the Cruel, which I do not suggest, their marauders are... They're going to be closer to the border. They might actually be coming... If they've got the support they need, then they might actually be coming up here. It won't be easy. They will have other vampires around them as supports, and will most likely have... well, you can't gather too many vampires in one spot. That'd be too obvious, but... you're capable, folk. I'm sure you'll be able to get rid of it. Word of advice. Don't let Karas bite you.
Any reason why?
Well, besides
for
them-
other than the obvious reason for...
They... You know how with guard dogs, occasionally you'll reinforce their teeth with metal?
That was not something I was aware that typically was done, but sure.
Oh, yes. Well, Karas has done this, and he has, it's not quite, it's poison. It's a horrible poison. Yes. So not only does he tear the flesh from your body, but you're poisoned. And because because poison doesn't really affect us as vampires, it doesn't really affect Karas when he drinks the blood. So just a word of advice, don't get bitten.
That's-
Really trying to own that name of his.
Yeah.
All right. So
You said he has
Karas-
marauders? Is this like an ongoing coup operation that you're aware of?
Who knows? Honestly, I try to stay out of politics. Actually, I could lure him here under the guise of listening to his complaints, and then you could kill him.
It's a possibility. Can I insight check that, though? I feel like he's
Sure.
lying about not being in politics.
Sure, make it that insight check. Lord Falamir is an extremely hard to read person. You can't get a bead.
Not wanting to state the obvious or anything, but we are a ways from Moroth. If we take care of Lord Falamir, it's obviously
Sorry?
allies.
Take
If a
care of
thing-
Karas, you mean?
Yeah.
Not
if we
me.
take care of Kars, yes.
Okay.
If we take care of Kars, obviously his allies will be more than a little miffed about that. But do we have to worry about anything like from any other parties? It's not going to be a situation of you murdered a vampire in this territory. Now you're, well, basically murderers.
No more than the usual. The Lordship is the one who does set out the hunters after vampire killers, but since you are killing an enemy of the Lordship, I don't quite believe they'll have you hunted down. But other than that, you're no longer. I mean, you're no more in danger than you normally would be.
Fair
Well,
point.
Besides actively hunting down a blood-crazed vampire with a tendency for cruelty.
Right. Alright, well. If you can think of a way to lure him here. I'm not sure if you had a mind for how we could trap him. Obviously,
Oh, this
we'd
is
have to
your
be the one
challenge.
doing. Well, yes, of course. You said you heard an idea of how to lure him here, and we could take him out from here. That way, he wouldn't be surrounded by marauders.
Right, I'll bring him here, but chapping him and killing him—that's on you.
Of course.
I just request that you don't destroy too many of my residents' homes in the battle.
Would you be able to lure him to some place that's not this town? There is a place a little ways away that might give us a bit of an advantage.
I could try, but Karas has essentially called out the Lordship in an open challenge and has started gathering vampires and others underneath his banner. It's going to be a bit suspicious if I not only say, you know what, never mind, I am interested in talking about the rebellion, and two, let's not meet at my home. Let's meet in, I'm assuming you're talking about the cave that you fought the Medusa in?
Not quite. There is a, we'll call it a residence, because that's basically what it is. That might give us a little bit of an edge.
Intriguing. Well, I need no more information if I'm going to be able to send a vampire to their death.
I think it would be better if we did it here. It would make more sense. He'd be more willing to just show up, most likely with a limited guard, into a vampire that he views as favorable.
That is true.
We can try to promise about limited destruction. If you have an open space that you know of in the area or away from most of the buildings, we could attempt to take him out there on his walk up to your stead. But obviously, there might be a little bit of damage depending on how it goes.
True, but nothing beats a good fight in the middle of the town square, now does it?
Of course.
All right, so I shall send out my letter after I draft it up, and invite Karas over. It could be a few days, depending on how far Karas is away.
Right. All right.
Now,
And we will.
just to be clear, I'm inviting a very dangerous I cannot say this enough. I'm just going to use the term psychopath over to my home and endangering my people This is another favor you're going to be owing me.
Correct. We will
Fantastic.
be in your debt.
Of course. Just wanted to be clear. Now, a little bit more on vampire slaying. So stake through the heart, then chopping off the head, that can work, but it more puts us in stasis. If there's any shred of the vampire left alive, they'll regrow from it. Anything. Could be a slab of skin. The vampire is going to regrow from it. Vampires are exceedingly hard to kill.
All right.
Hmm.
And mostly
Also, when-
just left out in the daylight, I assume, is the best way.
Most likely, yes.
What's
So
to
that is
stop
a
him from
cruelty.
cutting off a slice of his own skin and leaving it somewhere?
Absolutely nothing.
Right.
Oh, goody.
So we just
but-
have to hope that he doesn't have any fail-safes like that.
But that would, in turn, grow another Karas, which would mean that he would. He's not. So Karas doesn't believe he can die. And that would mean another Karas would grow while he's killing off the lordship and all that, which means that he'd essentially have to fight himself, which
All right.
would be difficult.
Right. All right.
Okay.
We'll just have to hope that he's not as clever as we think he isn't.
Oh, he's an idiot. But he's more of a brawn over intelligence all the way kind of idiot.
Right.
Out of curiosity,
Gotcha.
since we're going after Karis, would silver have any effect?
Silver doesn't really burn out vampires. It just reeks and is a bit garring to the eyes.
Any advantage?
I'd suggest holy water, stakes,
Would it work better in an armor form then, if he's unable to look at it?
potentially, but it also could just as easily send him into a rage.
You're just so
Right.
fucking ugly that he can't look at you.
He's like, ah!
Oh, if there's, I seem to pick up that the silver might carry with it a rather pungent odor.
Right.
Do you know if there's any way to cover it up temporarily?
Well, the only thing that smells more to a vampire than silver is blood.
Right.
Definitely would.
Well, I could pose a feast. I just had an idea. So, I know some of you might morally object to this because, mortals and moral, you can't spell moral without the beginning of mortal. But we could do a feast, and I could have you as vampires at this feast. The stench of blood would potentially outdo the stench of silver. And then in the midst of the feast, when he's engorged himself, that's when you strike.
It's not a bad plan.
I'm
If
just
we're
worried about
posing
outside interference.
as vampires, would he be able to tell we're not vampires?
Well, we have a solution for that. So I don't have a lot of excess vampire teeth I could, graft into you, but there are false teeth, sort of like dentures that you could wear. But I could, of course, add vampire teeth to one of your jaws. It's a good set.
That sounds painful and time consuming.
Not really. I've been a surgeon I'm an amateur surgeon, as Zon can attest. It wouldn't take too much time. Just you'd essentially recover just about time for the feast, and you'd pass as a vampire a lot easier. Possibly in some areas in the Fallen Keep a lot easier as well.
I think we'll be
Gonna cast
fine. Unless
alter
anyone
self.
else wants.
That could also work. I thought you
we'll
mortals were
be
more
fine.
fun. I am a fully trained surgeon. Damn being
Right.
humble, I'm the best surgeon here, and I'm offering you free teeth.
It's
Vampire teeth.
It's a bit more permanent, and with our lifespans a bit shorter, it's a lot bigger of a step.
All right.
Essentially.
Free.
It's
You
an
wouldn't even owe me a
option.
favor.
It's
Just
an
the
option.
practice.
It would
Yes,
be an
just
option.
practice. Fine.
But
It
if you
might
can
be
set
an
up this
option.
feast and get him in a comfortable position so that we can attempt to assassinate him, I'd be willing to accept this.
Sure, but I will need to sacrifice some humans for this feast.
I'd prefer not having to do that.
Well, Kars only drinks human blood.
Of course.
This whole
I think it
human
actually would be better just to have him show up. Less of a sort of reason for him to think it's something else is going on.
It might be a little conspicuous to hold a feast in his honor after out of the blue.
Less of a feast in his honor, more of a let's talk feast. But fine. I don't know what I'll do with those criminals now, but it's fine. It's fine. I'll find another use for them. So, wait, hold on. No feast, right?
No feast, it's fine.
It's-
I'd rather not sacrifice anyone for us.
God. Okay. Fine. We'll do it your way. Slightly smaller favor, though. All right. So, no teeth and no feast.
Right. If you can draft
All
up
right.
that letter and send it to him, that'd be very good for us. Can you tell me anything about these plants that we're supposed to be looking for? You
Sure.
being a surgeon and all, I assumed you would have more. I was told that they're for like healing and restoration, resurrection. So
Resurrection.
that's what I was told. I'm not sure what they're planning to use them for, but these are the herbs. As I'd show him the list.
Interesting. I can get you exact locations for these. Make it rather easy for you to pick up.
You seem like
Yes.
you know what they're using them for. Any idea?
Nothing really. Nothing concrete, at least.
Insight check.
Sure. So, he knows, but he doesn't seem willing to share it at this point.
Come now. A little bit more friendly here, at least between us and you. If there's anything that we should be aware of in our time being here, we should probably be aware of it.
It's nothing, honestly. If he's collecting resurrection herbs, it means he's most likely preparing for his death, which means he's not as confident in you killing Karas.
Insight check again. What? He's just lying to me to make me feel better or not. Damn it.
What, like, you broke through it there, but it's gone back to hard to read. I mean, it makes sense. Why not have a backup plan just in case your assassins do fail?
Right. Just seems strange for us to be tasked with doing both when he may not get either or if we get killed by cars in the end anyways.
Right.
Do you know anything about the area these herbs grow in?
Sure. The bloodwort right there is more of a water-based plant. It grows towards the bottom of lakes, typically, although it does have a strict, odd diet that it requires. It's much too brutish to go into the details, but they do not grow in places of peace. These others, I'm afraid I only know the rude names of them, but these can be found growing together. They typically grow in places that have been touched by the Elder Nation, the nation that built our great fallen keep. They do grow only in one spot. It does seem like something in there kind of invigorates plant growth, but isn't as accepting as intruders. Every person that's been tried to go in there has been found looking like they were struck by lightning. It's quite messy.
Do you know if, well, I'm assuming there's like an ecosystem down there, and animals, fauna, flora, stuff
Down
like
where?
that.
Where the people get struck by lightning? No clue. These plants used to grow plentiful near the entrance of the ruins, but they were all picked clean. Now someone needs to go deeper inside to find them.
Right.
I was just wondering if there were like a people who might live down there.
No, people do tend to stay away from places where they get struck by lightning if they go near it.
Ah, good to know.
At least we do. I'm not so sure about the southern nations.
All right. Well, unless you know of a place that's nearby that grows the bloodwort, we know where the other ones are supposed to be at least.
Oh, I make sure there's no chance for bloodwort to grow in any of our lakes near here.
Right.
It chokes up plant life.
Gotcha. All right. Then we will be good on that area as well. What was that last task we got?
I did think of something in relation to the task of slaying Callus. Would the Medusa's head work?
Potentially, but that would require test. I wouldn't want to go in there with a potential weapon untested. You would have to test it on someone to make sure that he was still able to petrify people. It has been some time since she died, and well, no one's quite sure how long a Medusa's head can stone people after a death. But I mean, if you'd rather use that, then feel free. But I wouldn't
Just a thought.
recommend relying on it.
Yes, of course.
If we have the time, we might as well check. Just a possible thing to follow up on. But anyways, unless anyone else had anything else, I think we're good here. We'll just wait for you to be ready for his, or whenever you know of his arrival.
Perfect. I shall send to Johnny when I get word back.
All right. Thank you very much again. You are very helpful.
Of course. And kind of nods and gestures to the door, and then opens up a book on his desk and starts to read.
Right. I think we should wait then. Well, go check out this Medusa head, see if it's active or not. Then we can just hang out and wait for this vampire to arrive.
How exactly do we check if it's still active?
Yes.
Well, we can find some wildlife or test it on ourselves.
In which case, we would probably require Falamir's, in a favor to possibly unpetrify ourselves.
Possibly.
I
We
mean,
might be able to sway him a bit. Call it scientific interest.
if I remember, it was like it took a little bit for it to fully take in terms of petrification.
Correct.
So
I
mainly
almost had
thought of
an
it as a.
instance with it as well.
So we could have
Ah.
someone like
I mainly thought
break
of it
that.
as a plan of action.
To be honest, it might not be that bad of a plan, at least as an opening move.
I might also have a bargaining chip, but I'll leave that for when I need it. I would strongly advise you, Joven, not to be speaking about the homestead that you
Yeah.
have.
Yeah, that might raise some questions if they go digging into your Haas's place.
Yes, come to my homestead where I kill vampires.
I would strongly advise all of you to just be wary of your words around most of these people. Especially Falamir. While I don't exactly untrust him, he's been rightly trustworthy, but he has his own goals in mind, and we've sort of racked up a few favors for him
Yes,
that
one
I
of
don't
which-
know what he exactly wants yet.
One of which apparently ties
And-
back into Moroth
Yeah, possibly.
when we're heading back.
Either way, just be aware. I don't know what he plans to do with these favors other than, well, he had me deliver letters once. But who knows how dangerous that actually was. And he will use, most likely, any information you give him.
I mean,
And there were things in that homestead that I don't think we want to show him.
Yeah. Yeah, most likely.
Right.
We
With
got
however much time in the day we have left, I assume we all head to the Medusa place, unless anybody
Yes.
else has any objections.
Cool. Yeah, you guys do have enough time to go to the Medusa place, check, probably pick up the Medusa head, and come back without any testing if you want to be able to take a nice long rest.
Well, I mean, I want to pick it up and then I'll just try to turn it at me a little bit and see if I'm trying to petrify and then turn it away immediately.
It might be better to try and test it on like another different person. Like, I can't believe I'm saying this. Maybe just flash it in my direction and then turn it away.
Or we
If
could
you wish
go
to
find it.
volunteer, that's fine with me, but I was going to plan to do it on myself, so I didn't have any of you having
I
to...
mean,
None of us can lift you.
Well,
I mean,
there's
it's not
guess
just
that's
one
that. it's-
person who can.
if you turn it and you get stuck like that, then you're kind of stuck with this thing pointed at you.
then I'll leave it up to
Find
you.
it.
Do you want me to point it at you, or do you want to point it at me?
Find a deer in the forest, you guys. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the hell? We have 3 other things.
Oh, now
we
you're
gotta
willing to
complete.
hurt a creature that isn't yourself.
And turn the fucking Medusa head at yourself. We will leave you in that cave. I'm not fucking dragging your ass out of there.
All right.
Which do you want? Do you want me to shine it at you, or do you want me to shine it at me? It'll only be here for an instant. Hopefully that'll stop any severe petrification if it happens.
Just, you know what? Just
My worry is, will this only work once, or will it be a repetitive thing that we can utilize?
That's obviously why he said not to rely on it, so... And I'm not relying on it, it's just an extra weapon if we need it. And if it's even possible.
Point at me. I can take it.
Alright. I'll lift the head up as best I can and
Cool.
quickly shine it at him and then move it away.
So actually, like, as you guys do finish up this argument, you guys do go into, you guys walk into the cave, and you notice that the soft, like, blue glow of the lines in the wall has been replaced by red.
Oh, lovely.
And when you guys do get down to the bottom, there's still the Medusa head. It's just the circles which the Medusa blood went into. Those are now filled with about waist-high red crystals that are jutting outwards around the Medusa's body.
Does
Oh,
it look like my hand after the axe incident?
Actually, yes.
Oh, hello.
different question. Slightly related. Does it look like devil's blood?
Yes.
Oh
My God, we've made drugs.
We'll be rich.
Eric is snorting people? Oh no. God, why do we keep
Drugs
running
for
into
people.
cannibals?
I mean, I would be more concerned about why there seems to be a ton of that stuff in a cave outside of Kelt. In the
So you
ground.
said you were lifting up the head and pointing it at Joven?
I mean, I guess we're investigating these crystals first.
Cool.
Oh my god.
Wonder if Lord Falamir would be interested in these.
I don't
Right?
know.
Probably.
Would drugs
They'd
affect
probably
an
be
apple?
interested to know that they're here, but
Should
I
probably
feel
take
like
a
we
piece of the
shouldn't
crystal
divulge
so
that
we can look at
information
it.
unless we need to get information from him.
That's a lot of questions. That's a lot of. Oh boy.
Interesting. Does it look like just the blood alone made these happen, or is it whatever residual magic in this area spurred with the blood?
Make an Arcana check.
Good, the thing I'm very good at. Okay, I guess I am.
So, God damn it, I actually opened up the fucking application. 1 second.
I mean,
Stop trying to get me to buy things.
you've dealt with the guy who's been snorting this, so it actually tracks.
I mean, I guess.
So, this blood, like, crystal thing, it does seem to be mainly the Medusa blood. However, the fact that it also affected the walls of the cave, turning them red as well, it does seem to be almost like it's feeding off of the magic of this place. Now, if you recall, the place where you found the crates full of devil's blood,
Mhm.
Those walls, those lines in the cave were blue. So that means that the devil's blood inside of that cave did not originally come from that cave. It's something.
Interesting.
So from what you can gather from this, devil's blood requires a specific kind of magic that most likely originates inside of these Velirine ruins for them to be created. And it as far as you can tell, it does seem to rely on a creature from Velirine in order to activate it. As of right now, you're not sure whether killing someone in these caves and using the magic of the cave with it would create devil's blood or not.
Right. Alright, well. Keep that information in the back of my mind when I ask a million questions to the scholar. Yeah,
Yes,
now I
everyone
guess we're
have, like,
testing the Medusa head.
Cool.
All right, everyone stand away from me. I'm gonna stand on this corner of the room.
So, Zon, you pick up the head. By the way, the body hasn't decayed at all.
Impressive.
So you pick up the
Interesting.
head, point it at Joven. Joven, you hear a familiar singing song. You hear the familiar singing voice. The crystals in the cave all seem to flash red, kind of filling the room with light. And the eyes as well flash with a red light, and Joven, make a Constitution saving throw. So, Joven,
Plus
you
3.
feel, yeah, excellent. That first one definitely beat it.
I don't know why he's double rolling.
But so you feel your body start to harden up a little bit, and then immediately pass by. This
Nope.
head is still working.
Still works. Still works. Put it down.
It's down.
Oh,
I'll find a bag to
Oh.
wrap it in.
that was. Did you see everything kind of light up?
Tim.
You muted.
Did we all see it light up?
Yeah, the cave filled with light. However, as of right now, the only person that could hear the singing was Joven.
Gotcha. All right.
That terrified me. That singing was back for like a second.
Interesting. All right. Well, we know it works. Hopefully, it'll work outside of here. Let's just not rely on it. If
Yeah.
it comes to it and we have a chance to use it, we can try.
I mean, we put some stakes in your bag of holding.
Yes.
It's true. We have stakes.
Stakes and that crossbow that I cannot
shoots
fire, so
stakes.
one of you will have to take it if you want it.
I'm not
I
as good of a
can't
shot as
do
I
it.
used to be, but I can operate it at least.
Yes. All right. I will take a bag and put it inside a bag. I'm not going to put it in the bag of holding because I want to be able to pull it out quickly.
Cool. So you're who's the guy who killed Medusa?
Perseus.
Perseus. Thank you. You're Perseusing this
Yes.
Medusa head? Fantastic. The Medusa head in a bag on your belt, and you guys leave.
It's a bloody bag. Don't worry about it.
So as you guys do leave, Joven, you notice that the red light of the cave seems to dim as specifically Zahn walks out.
Zahn has the bag, right?
He has the Medusa head, yes.
Lights dimmed. Hopefully that's not indicative of anything.
I'll just
Hopefully.
quickly test it. Walk back into the cave just by myself.
So you walk back into the cave, and the light does seem to glow a little, like the glow does increase a little bit,
Okay. I'm going to put the head down, then walk out.
noticing no change in the light.
Okay. So it's the head. I'm going to take the head and go.
So, you guys on your way back to town. As you guys are walking out, you do see a Johnny that's full scale sprinting out. It actually seems to be more horse shaped, as it does run out of the town and into the forest.
Not at us, right?
No, it seems to be like, you can tell it has like a letter in its mouth. This seems to be the messenger, Johnny, that Valimir was sending out.
All right.
They are inventive with their Johnnies.
Or like a horse. That's so weird.
Maybe it was a centaur Johnny, who knows?
I think we should just find a place to rest and wait for the word that they're here then.
Yeah.
I believe it'd be a bad idea to go and try and figure out these other tasks while we wait, in case we miss it or something happens during this that we don't foresee.
Cool. So, you guys go back to waiting. So the next day, anything you guys are doing while you're waiting for the letters, while you're waiting for a response back, it's not gonna, like, so far 2 days are passing without any word back.
If the pet mother isn't super busy with her very large pet, I want to try and learn more language.
I am trying to make sure he's fed, and I'm trying to train him so that he will stop being a little shit.
Cool. So it's going to cost about 25 gold a day to keep him fully fed and without tearing anything up. And he does seem to be growing larger.
5 gold a day.
Like he's growing rapidly.
He's a growing boy.
Like at full 25 gold a day, he is growing rapidly.
I've got like 59 gold left on me, so I'm gonna like take him outside and try and hunt down some creatures.
Oh, you're just gonna let him hunt?
No, I'm going with him. I'm going to try and catch things and teach him.
Sure. Make a survival check.
Oh boy.
Let's see how well you can hunt.
Not well, probably.
Yeah, probably not well.
Eh.
Yeah, I mean, you do a pretty decent job. You manage to take down like deer and some rabbits, but this doesn't really seem to satisfy Noodle.
What did he do with that dagger I gave him?
Oh, he's just kept it. Like it's
Just kept the dagger.
yeah,
You
it's just
thought
with
he
him.
was
Literally
gonna-
gave him his first item to his hoard.
Oh, he ate my bedroll. He's been stealing all of my stuff. I thought
Yeah,
those were the
but
first
your
items.
other stuff were not valuable, like a dagger.
A crossbow is pretty valuable. This dagger, I can pull like thousands of these daggers out a
That's-
day.
So throw an insight check for me, Kara.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I mean, he does seem to be keeping a rather close, like, he will not let you use the crossbow, the bolts, or the dagger that you gave him anymore.
Oh
The other stuff he just kind of doesn't really care about, but he seems to be focusing mainly on these.
boy. I don't use the crossbow or the bolts anyway. It's fine.
And he has, like, kind of dug a corner, like, kind of torn up some boards in the floor, and he'll bury them underneath the boards when he's not in your room.
Oh, Noodle. I'm going to have to mending those closed when I can. But otherwise, I'm just going to try and train him so that he has some manners.
Cool.
Because otherwise, Zon's going to yell at me.
So Kara's doing a mix of trying to stop Noodle and trying to teach Zon. What are you two doing? And you two being Jovan and Damagos.
Hmm. 2 days and no word.
Yep.
This town doesn't really have like a library or anything.
It does have some collection of books, but that's in the mayor's house.
And I don't want to tip off the mayor. I don't want to come in and just be like, "Hey, I'm doing research. Do you happen to know a guy named Yorkans?" I really don't want to do that.
You sure?
I'm like 80-20% sure. I'll be honest. Do we have any sort of like we have like a private rooms and stuff? I'll probably try to ask Zon if when I'm pretty sure we're alone enough to try and practice with that stake crossbow thing. Try to get a handle for how that operates.
So you asking Zon for help, or you're just doing it?
I'd ask Zon if I could get it from the pack, and then probably have to put it back afterwards. So yeah, I would ask him for help.
I would recommend doing this deep in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah,
Not out
if
in the open.
You can help me hunt.
definitely.
I cannot do something like that. I am too loud.
Not you.
So yeah, Joven, go ahead, throw a survival check. See how well you can help Kara hunt. Oh, do you have proficiency with a heavy crossbow, right?
Yes.
Cool. Then you don't get disadvantage.
Oh, we both suck.
Yeah, that was not a great roll.
Yeah, I mean it's you get a few, like you get a deer, some rabbits. Noodle does not seem satisfied with the amount of meat that you guys are giving him.
Letting him go out and destroy the ecosystem.
Pretty much.
He will destroy the
Your pet
ecosystem.
eats like a void.
Hmm.
All right, Domicus, what are you doing?
Being that I don't want Noodle to tear the town apart in just its hunger fits, I would probably, if Kara is helping Zahn with language, Damikos would probably help keep an eye on Noodle, just to make sure he doesn't like tear the inn apart.
Cool.
Zahn is. Should we do any scrying during this time?
Might as well, at least in the early nighttime, see what she's actually up to.
Okay, so one of the nights I would scry on Jethra, or try to.
I would also recommend attempting to scry on that large mountain woman we met. The one from the faraway place, who might be the people that we're about to meet again.
Could do that. That could be the other one.
Yeah.
Cool. So when you scry on Jethra, you do notice that she's sitting in the library and she's speaking to someone that looks a lot like Eric, but in scholar clothes.
My God, she's speaking with the scholar. Right now in the library.
And she kind of looks up and says something, and you see a flash of black and red, and then a figure that looks like the scholar has shrunk from looking like Eric to looking like a gnome in scholarly robes that scurries off. Like it looks like a black and red crawls across the scholar's face and body, almost similar to that creature that was in the cave. Yeah, almost similar to Jericho before scurrying off. And then Jethro just goes back to reading her book.
I described this to the party.
Was it like the public access part of the library that we were a part of, or was it a different library?
The view of it didn't get that in particular. It was just really them sitting in comfortable looking armchairs in front of a large shelf of books.
All right. It's curious that he would take the form of someone we've met like that. Multiple times, actually. It means he's either met those people and he's turning into them to disguise himself, or he's those people, which is very strange.
Yes, it is.
Don't want to think
Interesting.
about that.
Okay, and then the second scrying is on the large mountain woman.
This is blocked.
Locked, okay. Not working.
Alright. Could try scrying on one of those drow when you get the chance.
Cool. So on the third evening, Johnny bursts through you guys' door and goes, "Good evening, citizen. Your honored guest will be arriving in an hour."
Oh,
And then
Jesus.
bursts out.
All right.
okay,
Well,
1 hour. Let's
That's
go.
not a lot of time at all.
Oh, what the fuck?
Should probably find out where we need to be.
Yes. Let's go to the mayor's.
So as you guys are going out to the to Lord, sorry, Jovan, what were you gonna say?
Nothing. I can do it in a private message.
Cool.
Probably
So
keep Noodle either hidden or here.
Is he? Okay.
so fun fact: when you wake up, the window has been opened. Like you wake up a little bit earlier than normal. The window is open and Noodle is nowhere to be seen.
I have to go look for my son.
Excuse me.
Cool. Got it, Alakai. Although make sure to mark that on your sheet because we'll be taking this next session.
Okay.
All right. So, Kari, you're going out to look for your son?
Why did both of my children break out in the middle of the night? Yes, I'm going
Because
to
you
look
have
for
no
my
control over
son.
them.
My God, they helped each other.
Actually, Alexander is nowhere near the window. He is inside the backpack.
I go look for my son.
Cool. Kara runs out looking for her son. And everyone else is heading towards Lord Falamir's.
I guess, if we don't see her
Yeah.
running out in the middle of nowhere.
Did Kara let us know? Because if we're not, then
I have no time to let you know that I'm running out to look for my son because he might destroy the ecosystem.
Cool. So you guys go out and you see that Lord Falamir is sitting in a chair in front of his home. And he does have a table out in front of him. And no, he doesn't have a table out in front of him, but he is holding a goblet that is filled with a dark red liquid, and he does have a Johnny standing next to him. The Johnny has a towel wrapped over his left arm, and he has a the silver pitcher in his hand that you can, is obviously just really shiny tin.
It's rather short notice, but is this where you'd prefer things to happen?
Of course. Well, I did promise Karas a feast. It's really the only way to get him to come to us anyway. So he'll be coming up here, and I gave you short notice because I was given short notice. If it was up to Karas, he would have just burst onto the scene.
Of course.
The Lordship. I have some Johnnies that were hidden out on the roads.
Right. Alright.
Where's your other one?
I wish I could tell you that. We'll be prepared either way.
Fantastic. The villages have been cleared out. Have at it.
Is there like anywhere around for us to like hide?
Sure. There's houses. There's the big fountain in the middle that you guys can probably try to hide behind. There's a lot of bushes and trees. There's the forest itself, which is around. Valamir doesn't seem interested in helping you guys hide. He just seems to be more living for the drama of the battle.
All right.
are there any buildings or anything?
Yeah, there's the empty homes that are all around.
How tall are they?
They are 1 to 2 stories. The inn is the tallest at about 3 stories tall.
Hmm.
Would we be able to? Is there like a sight line from the forest to where he's sitting?
Not the site is blocked off by more houses than not. I'm currently trying to find a perfect battle map for this, but yeah, it will have like so the forest itself. I mean, theoretically, you could launch a sneak attack from there if you have like a delegation distracting him from the front, but you wouldn't be able to snipe from like the trees if waiting.
Yeah, I more or less was waiting, looking to see if a sight line for when he goes to sit down at this table, and then we'll rush up from there. I would assume, but
Oh yeah, like you could take a look through there, but you wouldn't be able to like properly snipe like with
of
a
course,
crossbow from
okay,
there.
that seems like the best
How
plan.
far away is the inn from?
The inn is about 120 feet.
That is a long ways.
Yeah, and that's really from like the roof itself, because I'm assuming that's your plan.
That was find a place tall enough that the cars would probably not look up. 2 stories might be a bit too short, but that's fine. There are trees, and are there foliage in the trees, or are they mostly
Yeah.
barren?
There's a mix of foliage and barren trees around. Some of these trees are they have their leaves on. I don't remember the exact name of the tree, but it's not evergreens. It's the other kind. But
Yeah.
yeah, some of the trees do have leaves on.
If there's a thicker one, I can try and have the
Cool.
short sword on my belt and the heavy crossbow and just sneak up in there.
Excellent. All right. So Yovin's hiding in the trees. Zon's hiding in the forest. Demikos?
Um,
You should probably come with me,
yes.
and I'm gonna let Yovan know. Don't start firing until we're within range of him, or he's going to attack you first. You're closer.
All right. If I can get the drop on him, that would be good.
Cool.
Well, yes, but don't attack before we are in range.
Oh, I know.
Or you're going to get slaughtered.
I know. I can wait for you guys to start the engagement.
Cool. So, you guys are all hiding. Do you have your silver armor on? Any silver weapons out?
I'm going to. I think we all pass around stakes, so everybody has a stake, as far as I remember.
Cool.
But the other ones that I took, I'm taking them out and putting them on my belt. The Medusa's head's on my belt. And I am... Should I swap out that armor? I don't see why not. I'll swap out for the silver armor, I guess.
Cool. So,
Can I?
Hurdley getting dressed in the bush.
Yeah.
What kind of armor is this again?
It's plate.
It is plate, okay.
I think, was there a breastplate that we snagged that was silver?
I mean, if you'd snagged the breastplate itself, then yeah. But the armor suits that came in were all plate.
I can't remember if I grabbed half plate or breastplate, because I would like to get that out and don that as well.
What I mean is they were like full plate, like silver armor. There was like half plate and like there was half plate armor there. It just wasn't silvered.
Son, what's the plan? What would you like for me to open with? I don't want to hit Falamir, obviously, but
Obviously, but
I might have to pick some more armor up.
whatever you think is most suitable. Your skill set is different than mine, but I'll leave that up to you. But once he's in the open, just unleash on him. I just want to put him down as quickly as possible so that we can somehow secure him so he can stick there until the daylight comes.
You know, even if the half plate's not silver, I might try to don that.
Cool. Getting dressed in half plate. All right.
I could use a little bit of extra defense.
Excellent. So we're gonna hop on over to Kara. Kara, make a survival check to see if you can track Noodle, and we'll see how long that it takes. So after a while, after a good 30 minutes of running through the forest, you do manage to find Noodle, who is surrounded by deer carcasses, and Noodle is twice the size of a cat at this point.
She no longer fits in my backpack, huh?
Nope.
He's just gonna have to walk beside me.
Yep.
All right, Noodle. You done? We've got a guest coming.
He kind of chirps and walks along next to you, and
I'm gonna softly
You're-
pat him.
so you're going to come in next session. You're going to come in 2 rounds after combat starts.
That's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Yeah, you rolled these. You didn't roll horribly for survival, but so an hour passes, and you guys do see a humanoid figure standing around 6, maybe a little bit over 6 feet tall, completely bare-chested, with what looked like to be dark shapes tattooed up from his wrists up to his chest, just fucking stacked. Long vampire teeth kind of poking out from his upper lip, hair pulled back into a ponytail, eyes that are dark red, just kind of confidently walking into the town, flanked by a drow archer and extraordinarily sort of a extraordinarily thin vampiric woman. Falamir, you old bastard, he calls out, and that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Thank you guys so much for joining us on another week of FetchQuest. We look forward to the confrontation between the party and Karas the Cruel next session. Does anybody have anything they want to promote? Anything they want to say? No? All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Follow us on Twitch, subscribe to our YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. See you guys next week.